This video will help you learn how to use the Discovery Education Common Core in the Classroom program. Once you have logged in to the DE site, you should automatically see the Common Core tab. If you don't, as in this example, go to the action bar at the top of the screen, roll your mouse over the My DE Services link, and then a drop-down menu like this one will appear. Select the Streaming Plus option. You should then see the Streaming Library tab along with the Common Core in the Classroom tab. Select the Common Core tab, and when the new screen opens, scroll down and select the Math tab. As you can see, Discovery offers instructional resources for kindergarten through 8th grade math. They also offer instructional resources for the 5 domains for the grades 9 through 12 high school math. For this video, we will focus on the statistics and probability domain. I will select that particular link, and you should see that the 4 different subdomains will appear. Now I will select the conditional probability and the rules of probability subdomain. Now the 2 clusters for the subdomain appear. Let's select the first cluster. Notice that the standards for this cluster all appear. Notice that Discovery Education is still using the Common Core State Standards for Math format. But as you have seen throughout this course, they translate easily to the new Mathematics Florida standards, so you shouldn't have a problem. Let's select the ccss.math.content.hss-cp.a.1 standard, which corresponds to the Mathematics Florida Standard 912.s-cp.1.1. This standard addresses describing events as subsets of a sample space using characteristics of the outcomes, or as unions, intersections, or complements of other events. When it is selected, a new screen like this one will appear. This is a page that is dedicated to this one math standard. You're going to see tabs for this standard. The first one is for the model lesson that we will be looking at in a minute. The next one is the Explore tab, and the third one is the Assess tab. We will look at both of those later as well. As you can see, there is a panel of links located on the left side of the screen. The first link is for standards, and this is the page you are currently viewing. It shows the primary standards and the secondary standards for this lesson. The second link is for the lesson overview. We will come back and take a closer look at it in a minute. Then you will see links to the 3 different sessions for this particular lesson. At the bottom of the panel is a link to the DE resources that are available for you to use when teaching this standard. Let's go back and take a closer look at the lesson overview. Notice the lesson summary is at the top. Then you will see the essential or guided questions. The titles of the 3 different lesson sessions are listed. At the bottom, you will see the standards for mathematical practice. When creating your lesson plan at the end of this course, you will be expected to include applicable mathematical practice standards along with your main Mathematics Florida standards. Here's a closer look at session 1 of the lesson. The title is What's the Chance? It deals with the fundamentals of probability in terms of predicting the outcomes of events, and we'll take a closer look. At the very top of the screen, you can share this lesson using this link. You can also add this session to your My Content folder within Discovery if you use the second link, and the third and last link would be used if you wanted to print a copy of this lesson. This first session begins with the summary, and then you will see the CCSS Math Standards. Notice this lesson covers not only a standard from Cluster 1, but it also covers a standard from the second cluster for conditional probability and the rules of probability. They have divided the 2 and have indicated one as the primary and the second one as the secondary. Here are the standards for mathematical practice again that apply to this lesson. Notice the essential or guided questions are listed, And this is the task that the students will complete during this session. Here's information about the teacher preparation for this session. Now let's look at the instructional procedure chart for the lesson. This has a lot embedded in it. You need to see it step by step. It's describing the actions of the teacher. It also shows the instructional resources, materials, and technology that's going to be used during the lesson. These are embedded here. Notice that it is scripted. What to ask, what to say. This is like you will be creating when you create your lesson plan at the end of this training. You will have an instructional procedure section. Now you should see some group application and collaborative learning. You should also see guided practice and independent learning as well. At the very end is the wrap-up or closure for this first lesson. Remember that the closure needs to be student-directed. The teacher facilitates, but you really want to see the students show what they have learned during the lesson. I'm going to go back up to the top of the page. Notice, as mentioned earlier, there's a Session 2 and a Session 3. These two other sessions are set up almost identically to the first one, so we won't take time to look at them now. You will have time later to come back and take a look around. This is the link to the DE resources for this standard. These types of resources should be familiar to you if you use Discovery Education in your classroom already. This link will give you access to copies of the worksheets for the lesson, video segments that will be used, and lots of other Discovery resources. Now let's scroll up to the top and look at the Explore tab. Here are additional resources from Discovery that you may see and like to use later in the lesson that you're going to be building. These are all applicable to this standard. Now let's look at the Assess tab. This tab shows the assessments that are available in Discovery Education for this particular standard. Notice there is a practice assessment, and there is also an activity called the Mad Chemist. That is how you use the Discovery Education Common Core in the Classroom program. It works very well, and you will be given time to practice searching for model lessons on your own. Please take advantage of the resources that are here not only for this particular training, but also throughout the school year with your students.